Bum, bum, bum. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, we've got 9. So pick a number between 1 and 9.
9 is, I'm okay. I thought there was going to be maybe like 2 or something, so I'm okay with 9. Number 5.
Number 5. This comes from Kristen, and our suggestion is Mr. Clean. Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean. You passed.
Okay, good. Boy, I mean, I've enjoyed living here so much, and I'm very, it's kind of a mixed blessing that I have to move. But that security department, the security deposit and security department, both, I'm moving to a job with the security department, and I do need the security deposit back. So thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, I've cleaned forever. I've cleaned for the past weekend. Basically, I've been cleaning because I wanted to leave it cleaner than I found it.
It was actually, it was your hidden exam for passing into the job that you just took, but you didn't know it. It was
This was a
secret,
test.
and you passed.
Oh,
So
wow.
welcome to Clean, Secure Futures. You know, I mean, who else is going to do it if we don't do it, right? That's our motto.
I know. And oh my goodness, thank you. I've wanted to be a member of CSF for as long as I can remember. And I was like, I don't think I'm ready. And I'm like, you know what, Ted, you're ready. Just put yourself out there. So, oh my goodness, thank you so much. Wow, cleaning my apartment was the test to get in. That's
Right.
brilliant.
If we told you ahead of time and you didn't know that it was for cleaning, it would be pointless because we wouldn't know how you clean. But this was a way for us to examine it quid pro quo from the side, you know?
Yeah. That's great. Like, you get right in there. You don't let me, I'll be honest with you. I didn't know it was such a long game. I mean, the fact that, I've been applying for years, and the fact that you took it upon yourself to become the superintendent of this building, just because that's part of the interview process. I mean, that is, I never would have thought it. I was like, the two things are completely mutually exclusive. Like, I'm going to be in CSF and I got to move. But no, I didn't know that they were intertwined. And I'll be honest with you, had I known, I would have been more nervous. But you actually got to see me as my relaxed self, which, as you can tell, I love to clean.
Ted, we go undercover on purpose because it's the only way we can separate the people who work from the people who don't work for us. And then, of course, there's a reason,
Yeah. Like, I bet if they know you're there, they're not going to give you the true sense of who they are because they know. So you want to get in there.
Yeah, it's like a fake clean. And then you don't really see the real person, or they pretend to wear gloves. You
are picking the cream of the crop in these situations.
We are the cream of the crop as far as companies go. You know how hard it was to even pass the first interview.
Oh,
the written test.
Oh, yes. I mean, that written test, I mean, it was 4 days. I've actually passed the bar. I'm also a licensed practicing attorney. That was nothing compared to that test. I mean, we couldn't leave the room for 3 days.
I have to tell you, that was part of your acceptance. Is we wanted a lawyer on board, and so we researched that thoroughly too. But you still had to do the other, because how can you represent us? No, if you're not on board.
Can I ask you something?
Of course, since I'm your employer.
Well, I mean, is this what you always wanted to do with your life?
I was on a different track.
Yeah.
And then I got bit by the cleaning bug. I don't know, something about the shine on the window.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, my mother was farmed out because her mother, my grandma, had tuberculosis, right? And so back in those days, there were 5 kids, so they got farmed out. So she went to Aunt Agnes and Uncle Bob's house, and that would be her temporary mother, right? Used to come home and put on a white glove, and she'd look around, and then she'd walk. This is my mother telling me this. Walk over to the doorway, and she'd go way up on the top ledge to see if that had gotten cleaned. And I think some of that genetically passed down, you know.
I mean, I think once a cleaner, always a cleaner. It's the smell in the air. It's seeing a job well done. It's like you actually, cleaning is something that you actually can see the result of. Like I can actually walk into a place and it comes out and it looks sparkling clean. And I'm like, I feel a sense of pride. I caused that. I was a part of that. I made this place better than I found it.
Yep. Sparkle, past the spackle. That's it. You got to bring the sparkle out past the spackle. Because what does spackle do? It covers the holes in the walls and it fixes mistakes, but it's not.
Right. It covers the mistakes. Then you got to clean the cover.
You got it. See, I told Fred that you would be a good candidate. Said, yeah, I think this head dude is going to pass our test. At least I hope he does, because we need a lawyer.
You talked to Fred Clean about me?
I did.
Oh, he knows who I am?
Yes, I showed him your dossier and the photo and the video we took of you. Oh yeah, we're thorough.
Thank you.
Top level.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Scene. Donna, that was great.
Was that 10 minutes? That went really fast.
Yeah, I think it for sure. It might have been a little bit more. It was so fun. Well, I loved the beginning of just sitting in the silence. That was great. Putting the glove on.
Yeah.
That was really.
What was our suggestion? Clean, Mr. Clean.
I think it was Mr. Clean.
Mr. Clean. Do you even know that commercial?
Of course, yeah. The bald cleaning guy.
There's the guy at the camp where I work. He looks just like him.
Really?
Got the earring in one hand. He's got the exact build. He's just not got the white. I don't know if they have a white mustache now. He doesn't have that. But when I first saw him, I said, "You look just like Mr. Clean." He goes, "Who?" And he's from New Zealand. So I said,
"Oh,
good I might." He doesn't. But yeah, that's funny that we got that reference.
Are you a clean person? I find that I am. I like to clean. It kind of puts me in a sense of meditation when I'm cleaning, actually.
Yeah. I can take somebody's basement or attic or spare room or junk room or whatever and transform it. I'm really, really good at that. I can do that for other. And for myself, I can do almost I'm in an apartment, but there's always a room that's not quite up to speed. But I just consider that being normal, But yeah, I prefer, if I'm going to clean it, it's going to be clean.
Yeah.
Because why would I put all that energy and then, live nasty?
I find like I'm more, I don't know, when it's not like my work area, if it's not clean, I get really distracted. So I've got to keep it clean.
Yeah. Oh, that's completely true. I don't think you can heal. I was a nurse too at one time. And if a patient comes home and their house it's horrible for them. It's just not the right atmosphere for your body to heal. Because everything's connected. Body, mind, soul, the spirit, everything.
Yeah. I read a book once called I think it's called The Mind Body Connection. And It's this guy, Dr. John Sarno, and he talked about how the mind and the body are more connected than we think. And I totally believe it. I'm like, oh, so much.
So I was a nurse first, and I'd always had respect for the body, but then it went up. Then I became a massage therapist, and it went over 100% and more because of you go through the connection of how interlaced.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, it isn't so much religion, but the spiritual, the soul, the mind, and the body, they're all connected. And some of it you have no choice. It's like a deck of cards and you get the deal. Because you say, I want to be in that womb right there because that's a healthy family. I want to be there. You don't get that choice.
Yeah.
But what you do with your deck of cards later and how you're dealt. But if you're blessed and lucky enough to get a really good start with how to handle like stress or anger, all the normal emotional things that happen, but if you're not ever taught how to, filter, address,
process,
that's the word I was thinking of maybe, then you have to learn it the hard way. You do. People learn lessons all the time the hard way. They hit their head on the brick wall, do the same damn darn thing and hit their head again until they decide to go find another wall that maybe is made out of styrofoam. And then until finally they go to another place where there is no wall and they move forward. So
I mean, what is it? It's the definition of insanity, doing the same thing but expecting different results.
Exactly. That's it. Or the one where you go down the street and you step in a pothole, and then you after a couple times you go around the pothole, and finally you take a completely different street.
Right.
It's just a visual analogy.
Yeah.
Doing the same thing could mean anything, but that's very visual.
Yeah.
So metaphorically, if you have a visual thing to put in front of it, whatever works for the person. I mean, you could term it in a lot of different ways. But I have to tell you, boy, when I took that class, one of the classes was how to learn. And I was saying, well, this should be done in middle school. And improv should be done in middle school, where you need that yes and the positivity. Even if you don't want to be a performer, I think the value of every single student having an improv class, especially in middle school, because you're like on that teeter-totter wobbly board.
Yeah.
How
did you get in? How did you get into improv?
Well, like I said, I did performing under the water, and then in the air, I did trapeze and all that for like 10 years. And I went to clown college, and I was in the stage when I was in high school. I was in Midsummer Night's Dream. I was Mustard Seed, a sprite, wasn't the big role. It was a little tiny role. So I think I've always been a ham. And my mother was in the roller derby, and my grandfather played the silent movies.
Yeah.
So I have that kind of background, and was never really meant to be on stage, with singing opera or whatever, but I would be a heck of a performer in, let's say I was in the chorus part of, let's say, Jesus Christ Superstar, or any of the, Broadway plays where you're the ensemble part.
Yeah.
But when it came to improv, it would have been Wavy Gravy in 1999 at Camp Win a Rainbow. That's, I think, where I first was 97, and then I went back a couple times. And he does a camp for adults there, and they have improv. He calls it Spacey. Wavy Gravy is the guy that was from the 60s. He went to Woodstock. He had a flavor named after him with Ben and Jerry's. He was a great, amazing man. So that would have been my first true. And then I did comedy sports, and I'm here in Portland since 2004, and had a bunch of different classes. I've been to Camp Improv Utopia.
Okay.
the West and the East one. I was supposed to go to Ireland, but obviously COVID stepped in and changed that game. And
next year, right? Next year.
I went to Tara DeFrancisco's improv retreat. I haven't missed one of those. She's brilliant, along with Rance. So that's my background, but I love it. And I think it was you. I read a couple people. I've read some people say, well, they don't like to work with kids, but I've seen other people that say they agree. And from what I've seen, once they turn their imagination on, it's crazy and wild, because they don't have a lot of life experience yet to draw from, but they have a crazy wild imagination if they get that freedom to use it.
Well, yeah, they don't have like the people telling them not to do that we do as adults. Right. So they could just let it go. And like, kids are so in the moment. Adults need, like, we are not in the moment at all, but kids are so much in the moment. They don't understand time. I've got a 5 and 7-year-old. They don't know what next week is. They can't comprehend that. They're just so in the moment right now. And it's great. Like you can't say you're going to take something, you can't be like, well, you can't have this thing tomorrow, because that means nothing to them. They don't know when tomorrow is. They're so right now. Let's deal with the moment, which is like, that's what we try to do as humans now. When we get to be adults, we try to be in the moment. It's so hard.
Do you know, I think that, and I guess you're not so far away from it, but when your first child was like 2 and 3 and 4, so magical.
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
So curious, so inquisitive, so want to experience, so want to touch, so want to see. And
my one son, he looked up at me. I think I said something and he repeated it back, and it was no, or don't do this, something like that. And I thought, wait a minute, that is not going to be good. I'm not going to. So the very next time there was something that like he shouldn't, either he's going to get hurt or he's going to wreck something or whatever, I went, absolutely. And he looked at me and he was absolutely. Right. And then I went positively, and he goes positively. But that's literally what he said. He was mimicking me back.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that those are positive words, because the sound was saying he's in trouble.
Right.
But if you ever seen a kid and you go, no, and they look back at you and they say the same thing, but it changes when you use multisyllabic positive words. I don't know. It's just, my 3-year-old learned to sing accentuate the positive.
Oh yeah. Eliminate the negative.
Eliminate the negative and don't mess with Mr. In Between. Because my older boy was in 3rd grade and they were doing it as a musical, and I was helping them with motions and such. And he was there because I couldn't leave him home. So he learned most of it. By the time he was 5, he could sing it. It was so cute. But it was all positive, it was positivity.
Yeah. Well, if people want to get a hold of you or follow your exploits or anything, what's the best way for them to do that?
Just on Facebook. It's a mermaid picture. You can't miss it.
Well, so fun, Donna. Thank you so much for being a part of this. This was great.
Thanks for letting me have a chance to enjoy your worldwide moments experience, because I've followed them and enjoyed them all. And it's so fun. Like, I know Vanessa.
Oh, yeah.
She and I were in the Earhart cabin at Utopia. And, well, I know a lot of the people. I know Andy L. and some of the big wigs.
Yeah, but, the improv bigwigs.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Jay.
Oh, thanks, Don. I can't wait to do it again. We'll talk soon.
You see my Tivoli poster?
Oh, is that from Copenhagen?
That is. Well, yeah. There, well, a year ago now, but yeah. Yeah, I worked there for 2 months, so it was awesome.
Oh, I love Tivoli. I spent 7 months in Denmark, so it was great.
I know, I was assuming you had to have gone there at least once or twice.
Oh yeah, it's a wonderful amusement park.
Is the improv place right on the walk street?
It's like 2 blocks from Tivoli.
That's what I thought.
Yeah,
Two-
yeah, it's
okay.
right there. So the location's great.
All right. So even though this is the first time we met, it was lovely, very fun to play.
You
And
too.
thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Donna.
All right.